Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for joining us today on this extremely important chapter of aviation history at Westover. This afternoon, we're going to hear from our senior leadership and our local mayor, of course, too, Mayor Koss. But now, at this point, I'd like to introduce you to our wing commander, Colonel D. Scott Durham. Sir. Hey.
It's a pretty good-looking airplane over there, isn't it? 7043 it represents the newest and last addition to the family here at Westover, so it'll be our 8th C-5M. And in honor of that, General Ogden has flown out from California, all the way from California. He was out here on the coast and was gracious enough to make the time in the calendar to make it out and deliver this last plane to Westover. So it's an important milestone for us. So I have a few words, and then we'll let General Ogden speak, and then we'll let the mayor have the final say, since it is his town around here. So good afternoon, and welcome to Mayor Koss, General Ogden, from our headquarters at 4th Air Force. Miss Connie Brown, wherever she is, did Connie make it out, or is Bud representing? You representing for everybody, for the Galaxy Council? The Galaxy Community Council, President's Miss Connie Brown, used to be Bud, but he gave it over. He said he was going to retire, and then he didn't retire. So he's always here. So appreciate the Galaxy Community Council support. They're great supporters of the community and Westover Air Reserve Base. Miss Abigail Weber from Senator Warren's office, Miss Melissa Olson from Senator Markey's office, and other honored guests. Thank you for being here with us today. This marks the 8th and final delivery of the C-5M, the largest aircraft in the U.S. military inventory. With more than 70 improvements and brand new engines, this aircraft is faster, more powerful, more fuel efficient, more quieter. Is that the right way you say that? More quieter and more reliable. Today's a red letter day for Westover. Having 8 re-engined and modernized C-5Ms here represents a 3-part success. First, we've increased the airlift capability here at Westover. And second, with these engines being 3 times quieter and 20% more fuel efficient, we're greener, which is important to Massachusetts all over the state. And third, these 8 aircraft represent a $720 million investment in upgrading the aircraft here. That's a huge vote of confidence shown in the men and women of Westover Air Reserve Base. And it underscores the strategic importance of having a standalone reserve base here in the Northeast. This past July, we gathered at another hangar on base, right over there, right before the air show, to name another one of our C-5s, the Spirit of Chicopee. That day we highlighted the historic rapport between Westover and the city of Chicopee, which spans nearly 8 decades, since Westover began operating in 1940. I mentioned then that Mayor Koss has been a friend to me since I arrived last year, and a friend to Westover for many, many years before that. And I appreciate you being here today, sir. With 8 of the nation's 52 C-5Ms now located here at Westover, the 49th Airlift Wing has 15% of the Air Force's total C-5 inventory on the ramp. That's good news for Westover and good news for Chicopee. As one of the major employers in the area, Westover gathers its team of expert pilots and support staff from the surrounding towns and states across New England and beyond. About 5,000 total full-time and part-time work here at Westover, representing active duty, reserves, and civilians from the Air Force, Marines, Army, and Navy. This joint service effort results in an economic impact in the region of more than $212 million last year. There are some 1,100 reserve citizen airmen from Massachusetts alone who serve here. And these reservists also serve in the community as leaders, educators, and businessmen, emergency services, and much more. They're your neighbors, and they routinely balance their civilian duties with their military duties to fly and support our worldwide airlift mission. So this event showcases the C-5M Super Galaxy, the strategic airlift of the future. The C-5M is dramatically quieter, as you probably noticed when it was taxiing in, and the engines are 20% more fuel efficient. No, it's awesome. It's almost like it's shut off. These engines are 20% more fuel efficient, making this plane much more environmentally friendly. And the new model can pick up any cargo in Dover, Delaware, and fly it straight to Afghanistan, carrying more than 250,000 pounds of cargo without stopping or refueling. In addition, the plane has broken 89 world records, the most of any plane in the world. So it's a proud day for me to see the 8th refurbished and re-engined aircraft here in the Reserve Command and at Westover. I think it shows great faith that the command has in Westover and what we're doing here. Coupled that with the economic impact and the recent budget approval that we've got, over $42 million to build a new maintenance hangar on that end of the field down there, coupled with about a $5 million add to build an indoor shooting range here. I think it demonstrates DoD's continued investment in Westover and continued success here. So we look forward to the future. That's it for my remarks. I'd like to introduce General Randy Ogden. He is the 4th Air Force Commander out at March Air Reserve Base. He has all of the Strategic Airlift and Air Force Reserve Command. So he has all the C-5, C-17s, and KC-135s, which I think comprise about 55–60% of the total Strategic Airlift fleet for DoD, active and reserve. So without further ado, General Ogden.
Absolutely great words, Bull. I don't know if I'm going to add much more to that, but I will try. But again, thanks to this incredible community. Mayor, ma'am, could not do it without you guys, but also the families. See, Jennifer, it is great to see you. And I'll shout out to my chief, Chief White, the greatest wingman out there. One thing, I was talking to the crew chiefs, I'm flying over, and they reminded me it's the Patriot wing, and I made sure it's not the Patriots wing, because Chief White is a huge Raiders fan, and he's still in therapy from Tom Brady and the Tuck Rule. So, but again, just what a great people. The reputation of the airmen here and the community are just unmatched. The extra maintenance ISOs you guys do here are incredible. So. That's renowned, not only throughout the Reserve, but throughout all Air Mobility Command and the Air Force. 71 years of the Air Force, just went through a birthday ball the other day. But again, thanks. Chief and I obviously come from 4th Air Force, as Bull mentioned, but we really appreciate everyone joining us for this incredible milestone and the 8th and final delivery of the C-5M. And it's the final delivery of 54 or so for all the Air Force Reserve. While C-5s are not new to Westover, this modernized strategic airlifter is indeed an incredible machine, and heralds a new operational capability for this wing and our great Air Force. These 8 aircraft represent the enormous capabilities and worldwide reach of our Air Force and our citizen airmen. It was just 15 months ago that you took possession of the first C-5, and now you have your contingent of 8. But again, Major Koss, again, thank you for all the support and being here today, and look forward to your words. Again, as Bull mentioned, the first one named after the city of Chicopee, so that is a great honor that we share. And you're here with us today as we bookend the arrival of this 8th C-5M. I join Bull in thanking all of you and the support that you provide Westover Air Base. As Bull mentioned, it's a much quieter aircraft here today, and flew a C-17 the other day, and this is definitely quieter than the C-17, which we look at as a kind of a new airplane, but this one can outmatch it now. Again, this event, it showcases the C-5M. It's not just the engines are new, it has all new avionics and a glass cockpit to comply with all FAA and European air traffic regulations. All that is up front, but also take a peek inside the cargo compartment, which incidentally is 1 foot longer than the first flight that the Wright brothers took. So I looked inside there. It is huge, and it is beautiful. Overhead, the cargo deck there's a set of new lights with a refurbished interior that provide a whole new look. This is a proud moment for the Air Force and the Air Force Reserve. We take pride in all this and the teamwork that you guys have, and our global strategic airlift with the C-5 represents a total force of active duty reserve airmen, and as Bull mentioned, we're close to over half of strategic airlift and refueling comes out of the reserve. And again, we talk about the total force, but we look at what you guys do here at Westover. Nobody does it better, and it's the envy of other bases. And all that you do goes to, again, preserving a great way of life in this great country we serve. Again, one more thanks to all you for arranging this special event, and go forth and conquer. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. As always, Mayor Koss, we'll give you the opportunity to have the last word.
Thank you.
Well, Colonel Durham, thank you again, and to all who are here, and especially a warm welcome to General Ogden for making this flight and coming here. You know, it wasn't that long ago that we were very concerned about what was going to happen here at Westover. I have to thank our congressional delegation, Congressman Neal at the time, but then representatives of the entire legislative, but also representatives from Senator Markey's and Warren's office, all met in Washington. I think it was about 3.5 years ago now. And it was very impressive with the show of support for this base and how much it meant to all of us. And in doing so, the Secretary of the Air Force at the time promised us that this base wouldn't be forgotten. So for me, to some degree, this is a continuation and fulfillment of that commitment, having 8 literally new planes here. You know, I'm a native son, as I was joking with General Ogden when he first came in here a few moments ago. What a difference a day makes in terms of the aircraft that have flown on this base. I grew up in the Falls, and I watched the 4 B-52s go over one by one, where you would not have any phone calls going on or any TV watching or anything. All you did was listen and literally feel the vibrations of each of those aircrafts and what it meant in terms of its presence, their presence in the sky above where all of us lived here. And even the original C-5s, as many of you know, they weren't that far behind. And I was mayor previously, and we would get phone calls and saying, just they're so noisy. And we would just smile when we took those calls in the office in City Hall. And, you know, we acknowledged them, we were polite, but that was about all we did with those calls. And as we go forward today, it's unbelievable, the technology that's here. As people in the industry know, the tolerances and the specifications that these planes have with their engines, it creates a 20% less noise, the 20% efficiencies. And it's not just in the military, it's in the civilian life. And our civilian planes are flying faster and quieter and more efficient. But all because of probably some of the technology that's been learned here from the military and what has happened. You know, I tell a story about how important symbolism is for the military. I know we did that with the air show just a few months ago, just a way of showcasing what it means and the pride that we have in our community. And I told a story that I might just repeat because I know there's some new faces here, how important what you do and what you symbolize for our community. I grew up a parent of our son, I should say my parent was a Seabee. He was stationed in the South Pacific, my father, during World War II. And he didn't talk about that war very much. And I was a kid, sports was pretty much my life. And as you know, a lot of us, we have teams that we root for, whether it be the Patriots or the Giants or the Raiders, as the case may be, and other baseball teams in the area as well. And I would follow all those teams. And then one day I found some pennants. So as a little kid, I put pennants up on my wall. And I had them all on the wall for several years growing up. And it was interesting. It wasn't until I was in high school and I started learning about history, what those pennants mean. One of my staffers says, asked me about those, and he said, mention that again today. And it was funny in cleaning out, and my wife Gina's here will tell you that I don't clean out very well, but she got me moving on that. And I found them, and it brings a tear to my eye because I just remember the greatest generation, and I think each successive generation with your military service just owes a great deal of gratitude and thanks. But those pennants on my wall, I thought were sports related because that's all I knew at the time. But it was only later that I realized what Tulagi, Peleliu, Bougainville, and the Green Islands, to name a few, meant. And only then did I really realize the sacrifice and what happened in my father's life and his comrades and colleagues, and really what goes on every day. So with that, I actually brought Peleliu and a few others with me just for the show and tell effect because I've been spending time in the schools these days as well. But I share that with you just to realize what this plane means and what each and every one of you mean by your service every day. And I'm here to thank you and tell you that it does make a difference, and it's just a matter of time, hopefully, for when each and every one of those young kids who may not really appreciate what you do and what is being done for you realizes the magnitude and the importance and expresses this, what I'm doing right now, a great big thank you. So with that, I welcome the last. I thank all of you again, And Colonel, we're looking forward to many more decades to build on what we have here at Westover. Thank you, everyone.
So I can't tell you how proud I am of this new airplane, and I can't tell you how proud I am of all the Westover warriors you see standing around here. So there's civilians, there's people in uniform of this type or that type. So if you're here visiting, please shake their hand, tell them thanks, and just know for all the people that work here on base, I'm proud of everybody, and it's a job well done. That's it. So the plane's open. If you haven't been on a C-5 yet, you're welcome to climb around on it, and we're going to have it open. So thanks. That's it.